Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ring Post Radio, the only show that I had a bit. The only show that forgets their bits. I'm Ryan and Scotty, and with me, as always, is the man, the myth, the legend, Scotty Edwards. Scotty, how you doing today? Happy belated birthday!
Thank you. Yeah, I got the gift of Okada leaving New Japan. Pretty good gift.
That's what we all wanted, right?
Yeah. I was like, oh, what could I get for my birthday this year that no one else can get? And boy, oh boy, New Japan gave me a good one. But otherwise, I'm doing great. There was a lot of nothing this week until like the last couple days.
Yeah, you and I were like last week when we were done recording, we were like, all right, what do we got on the docket? We got the Rumble. Well, we always got a yearly bit for that. We got New Beginning Nagoya. It's really three matches.
Notably, by the way, we used superlatives for the Royal Rumble, and I just remember them.
Perfect. But we were just sitting here like, man, it's one of those weeks where it's like it's a little light. We're gonna be a little light on topics, and then a happy birthday present to old Scotty Edwards arrives on our doorstep, and it is the departing papers for one Kazuchika Okada from New Japan.
What happened? Oh! All right.
Was that your reaction? Was that your immediate reaction when you heard it?
So I'll give everyone my how this went. So obviously my birthday, I was pretty busy. I was waiting for my phone, whatever, and I fell asleep. I don't know what I was doing, but I fell asleep for probably 40 minutes or so. And I wake up and I check the wonderful app that is Twitter X, and I see the New Japan logo. You know that damn New Japan logo in the black and white, and I'm like, oh, someone might be sick, someone might be missing the show. I don't know. Evil attack Tamatonga, it was pretty general. And then I read it, and I was just like, exactly that. What happened? And I'm still a little bit in shock, but for the most part, I've moved on. Just because it's been a couple days, but since I have to talk about it again today, I'm back to being absolutely crushed, devastated, and whatever else may come with Kazuchika Okada leaving New Japan Pro Wrestling.
I mean, immediately, what I can say there, Scotty, is it sounds like the problem there was that you went to bed. If you never
I didn't go to bed, I fell asleep in
that's your
chair.
problem. If you sleep, bad things happen. You have to stay awake.
The problem, see, that's why I never sleep. You people question me, why don't you sleep? This is the reason. Bad things happen.
You stepped away from your post for 1 minute, and Kazuchika Okada left New Japan.
If I sleep before midnight, we're doomed. That's the thing. We're doomed.
These are facts.
Oh God! But we're okay now, right?
I don't know if we're okay now.
Okay, I'm okay now. I'm doing pretty swell. Thank you. Oh, you know what I did do that same day though?
What's that?
I bought a Samoa Joe signed towel.
Really?
It popped up, and I was like, "Yep." Didn't even think about it.
A little rally towel?
If I gave it more, the towel he puts around his neck.
Really? Oh, we're selling. Okay, merchandise. Is Samoa Joe's title reign all about merchandise? He's got the new title belt.
He's doing a signing for High Spots, and he was signing a towel. I was like, that's the sickest thing I could ever buy.
That's awesome. That's so good.
Yeah, it was one of those things that if I thought about it for more than 2 minutes, I wouldn't have got it. So I was just like clicking the buttons. All right, we'll see ya.
Well, that's awesome.
Good morning. Good morning, Dedrick. How you doing?
I was gonna say, shout out Dedrick Hendricks. Good morning. Welcome everybody to Ring Post Radio. We'll get into the show. If you have any thoughts and comments and questions, leave them in the YouTube chat. I don't even have to say YouTube chat because this is from Twitter, and I keep forgetting that X Twitter allows you to do comments. So if you have any comments whatsoever, put them in the chat. Of course, you can always drop us a line, 2525 Ring PR. That's our phone line. Drop a voicemail. Yeah, so big time news to get to.
Oh, we're starting with this? I wonder why.
We're going to start with, of course, the biggest news that affects Scotty and I and everyone listening to Ring Post Radio, and that is, of course, Black Taurus No, it's Kazuchika Okada. He put in his departing papers late Thursday night or Thursday morning, or at least for us, Thursday night. And this is from, as you said, New Japan's website. Kazuchika Okada will be leaving New Japan Pro Wrestling after the conclusion of his contract January 31st. We apologize to the fans for the abrupt nature of this announcement, but join them in wishing Okada the very best in his future. We do get some card adjustments, which we'll talk about in a moment. And Kazuchika Okada's statement via the website is as follows. I have nothing but gratitude for having been a part of New Japan Pro Wrestling since 2007 and for New Japan bringing me from a 19-year-old kid off the plane in Mexico to the rainmaker I am today. Thank you to the best of companies in New Japan, to the best of opponents that I've been able to face here, and to the best of fans that have cheered and booed me over the years. I promise to make it rain in every match I have left, so keep watching. When I saw this news, I literally got out of my couch and started pacing, thinking
You're
about
in your couch. Sorry,
I was
so sorry.
Terrible joke, and I would know. I stepped out of my couch and I was just sort of pacing and fear and anticipation.
It's like it was a 5-star match. You're up and down pacing.
Exactly right. Exactly. Yeah,
5-star news. That's awesome.
The immediate, this is some Tokyo Dome 5-star bullshit right here. Yeah, my immediate thought was just sort of like, I think I shared the same thought that everyone sort of shared of, after the former president of New Japan left and Tanahashi came in control, I think the general public, me included, assumed that, all right, we're done here,
Yeah.
And based on what I'm hearing and everything, what I've read,
we were not.
Not only were we not, but the office thought the same as the general public.
Yeah.
And then maybe something changed. Maybe it was over. Maybe it was over. This was so apparently last minute that maybe something was over. And all of a sudden something has changed. And Kazuchika Okada is leaving. What is your... let's just talk about... there's so many different aspects of the story we'll talk about. But let's just start off with how the effects of Kazuchika Okada leaving for New Japan, specifically, not necessarily where he's going to go, but how this affects New Japan and what New Japan maybe needs to do moving forward following this kind of announcement.
They need a booker willing to take some chances. That's what they need. Losing Okada, it isn't new for New Japan to lose talent, right? They've had these waves before. Years ago was Styles and Nakamura and the Good Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was the Elite. Every single one of the Elite, by the way, it was Kenny, Young Bucks, Cody, Hangman.
There were even like mid-card guys like
the
Trent Beretta.
Friends, yeah, and that was huge too. And both those times they made new stars one way or the other.
You can go all the way back to like the formation of like All Japan, splitting off from JWA, New Japan, essentially.
But so you look back at when Styles happened. They went into quick mode. They made Kenny the leader of Bullet Club, and the history is done there. After the Elite left, Jay White became IWGP Heavyweight Champion in like a 2-month span after the fact, right? And they started building up the likes of an Ospreay and so on and so forth. And what both of these versions of New Japan had at the time were great junior divisions. I think that's very notable in what they need to be doing moving forward. Because I think ultimately this is not going to be a 1, 2, 3 person fix. Losing Okada is like losing all of those combinations of people. Just Okada, but you have to add in that they also lost Ospreay, right? You have to add in that they did lose Jay White last year. And you take that and you realize this is going to take a while There is no instant fix. They can do a instant fix, whether that be with the New Japan Cup, whether that be with a title challenge against a Tetsuya Naito right after he defends against Sonata. They can do a quick fix, but a lot of this is going to have to be a long-term fix. You lost the biggest star in Japan. That none of those people we just talked about before this were the biggest star in Japan. This is unprecedented. Like Meltzer said, the biggest star that ever left for America was Nakamura, and he was only number 3 at the time.
Yeah.
Arguably, he might have been 4, right? This is number 1. This was 1A, 1B, 1C, 1. Like, losing Okada is huge, but I also don't think it's the end or mayday for New Japan. However, boy oh boy, would it have been nice to start having guys get ready when he was around.
Yeah, everything in hindsight makes it real tough. The past year makes it even tougher when you consider everything happening in hindsight of what we could have done. I think, like, when we looked at the Wrestle Kingdom card, we all sort of were originally upset about where the younger guys, the Three Musketeer guys, where their slot what their slot was missing, and then it ended up being fighting with each other, and we all sat there in that moment saying, and we're okay with it seemingly because we were like, Yoda Tsuji, Yuya Uemura, that's a match that you look back on and you'll be like, this is the starting of a foundation of a rivalry that'll last for the next decade. And then now you look at that match and it's like, man, if only, I mean, I wouldn't get rid of Okada Danielson, obviously, but you look back on it now and it's like, what could have been if it was just like Yoda Tsuji in the global heavyweight title picture as well? You know what I mean? Or Ren Narita or Shota Umino as part of, maybe going for a tag title or something, if it was anything pushed harder, it makes sense at the time for those to all be foundational. But now we're at a point where the tippy top star, whenever these other people left, Okada was always still around. Tanahashi even was always still around. When a bunch of people left and formed All Japan, Inoki was still around. When all these people left in various decades of New Japan's history, which is weirdly common, there was still it felt like the top star was still around.
Right.
Now you lose. I said this weeks ago when we were talking about Okada, when the whole Barry Bloom conversation was, if you're New Japan, you can't lose Okada because you can't lose in a 9-month span Jay White, Will Ospreay, and Kazuchika Okada. Your 3 top guys.
Yep.
And in 9 months, and this is another part of it, like, New Japan obviously did not know what was going to happen here, and they obviously had no expectations that Okada was leaving because they didn't do anything just in case Okada was leaving. To me, that reads as they fully thought Okada was staying. They might have been told Okada was staying by Okada himself, and then something changed last minute because all of a sudden they had no plans whatsoever, no prep work just in case he leaves, and now we're at this point.
The giveaway was that they change cards. They don't change cards. Yeah. When they're like, we gotta change some cards, folks. It's the ultimate. Oh, okay. So like this was not expected. This is something that is a rush, and it sounds like that they had a meeting, and he just ultimately by the end of it said, "I'm leaving. I'm moving on." And I think there's obviously the conversation of him heading to America that we'll get to. But in New Japan's case, they need to act on it more than anything else. Like they don't. It's not about what you could have Tanahashi say to me. It's not about what you can put on a card right now because you have most of your cards set. It's what you can do in the next month to remind people that this company is one of the best at making stars. You have the Three Musketeers. You have Yu Uemura. You have I'm not obviously the biggest fan of them, but you have some of the War Dogs. Like, you have these guys that you're clearly behind, but now you have to commit to them without being able to have them face the Okadas and the Ospreys. I watched Shota Umino lose to Will Ospreay, and I said, "What the hell are you doing?" Because we knew Ospreay was leaving, and that looked bad at the time. Oh boy, does it look worse now, right? These guys aren't going to beat Okada on the way out. The only person that may have that chance is Kosei Fujita. And I think Kosei Fujita is going to be great. Don't get me wrong. But
sure,
like, think
I
about
always
that.
thought he was going to be a great junior, not a.
Yes, that's what he's going to be.
Okada.
He's going to be a great junior. One of the fixes that I've thought about for New Japan, immediate fixes, because while you do need to get the young guys up and make them your stars, because guess what? You don't have an other choice. You have to make them your stars.
Yeah.
I'm forcing Hiromu Takahashi to be a heavyweight this year. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He is the second most popular wrestler now in your company because Okada's gone. It's Naito and Hiromu. Hiromu's dropped the belt. You put it, remember the New Japan Cup 2 years ago against Evil? That was one of the loudest reactions. They couldn't react. they still were clapping.
And you're set up nicely that Evil has that never title,
Yeah, like
that's how the never titles are multi weight class, I guess.
Exactly. I'm putting him in the big spots. I mean, we already saw it with Windy City Ride. He's one of the first matches announced. The other match announced is Tetsuya Naito. So that's the reality we live in. You got to use all your guys to the highest ability while also trying to make younger talent. Naito can put over so many people by himself. Tanahashi can put over so many people by himself. Kind of stops there in terms of big people to put over. And then you got to elevate the other guys that are already proven, like a Shingo Takagi, like a Zack Sabre Jr., right? You and me have been talking about that all week. Those two make the most sense. Though I saw the new Chaos logo. I don't know if you saw the new Chaos logo.
Yeah. It felt very Britpop punk sort of.
Yeah, they showed that to Okada. He's like, "Yeah, I'm gone." So I'm not doing that. But
can I talk about Shingo and Zack Sabre Jr.? I've seen some people poo-poo the idea of Shingo or Zack Sabre Jr. And I think for the Zack Sabre Jr. one, I think, to be fair to people, I think some people are poo-pooing it because it's another like Westerner Gaijin person. And I think with White, scary. Okada, and Ospreay, there's some fear of doing that. But if I'm New Japan, I gotta, sign this guy to a contract or nail him down or figure things out because I think you have to push that guy immediately. We talked about how Zack Sabre Jr. losing the World TV title should be a losing up. Even Shingo should be a losing up. And I think now's the perfect time for those guys to push up. I mean, excuse me. I just released a Patreon episode of The Ballot, first episode of The Ballot on patreon.com/counterpod. And it's all about the Hall of Fame case of Zack Sabre Jr. It's an hour-long conversation with Curtis Spears from Okada Shorts podcast, which, by the way, they're having a tough time with the news with a podcast called Okada Shorts. But it's all about Zack Sabre Jr.'s basically run in New Japan. And, his run, his longtime rival that really what started his run, having like 4+ star matches over and over again and doing really well, was against Tanahashi. And Tanahashi has always been Zack Sabre Jr.'s rival. I've always believed that Tanahashi has loved Zack Sabre Jr. And now Tanahashi's the president. If there's anyone to push right now, and I've said it before, if there's anyone to push right now, I said it when Ospreay was leaving, that is your next top Gaijin in Zack Sabre Jr. And you do that right now. He can go right now and be a world champion title challenger immediately, potentially a winner. Shingo is a guy who's already previously won, did it during the pandemic, but now we have a shot where we can push him again into a world title challenge holder. You know what's a third name I heard about, Scotty, that we didn't talk about that actually makes a lot of sense too? That'd be a great person to step out of sort of this mid-card thing and step him up into a world title contender. Taichi. Taichi would also be a really good person to push up.
He's older, but he's good.
He's older, but he can go. He can go right now. And right now, you need people that go. The Three Musketeers, Yu Uemura, Kosei Fujita. These are guys that you need to push faster, but they are not. I've seen people pitch the idea of having Shooter where someone beat Naito like this year, and I'm scared about that because I don't think he's ready for that role yet.
Was Jay White ready?
What's that?
Was Jay White ready?
No, which is a fair point. But I just don't know if Shooter is at that point yet, and I would be concerned shoving him up that quickly. Because at least Jay White was around for a little bit. And he was IC champion beforehand, before he became World Heavyweight Champion, if I'm not mistaken.
What they smartly did with White is have him. They always gave him big matches. They had him beat Okada. He can't, obviously, Shota can't beat Okada.
Yeah, not anymore. Well,
that's why
he still could, but we'll get to that in a moment.
That's why you use the New Japan Cup. That's why you use the G1 to get these guys over.
Yeah, the New Japan Cup is a perfect way for one of these guys to win.
If Shota or Yoda, aren't winning those two tournaments, something went wrong. You can't, unless it's like Zach winning the G1, which is fine, or something like that. But here's the thing with Zach: you need commitment. You can't be giving him the IWGP title, him main eventing the Dome next year, and then leaving. We've done that.
You need commitment for all these guys.
We've done that like 5 years in a row.
Yeah, this is the biggest fear right now. Is you have these other companies that can, as soon as your top star gets big, and the other guy's interested, they can easily walk away. I mean, a conversation I've been hearing is that one of the reasons Okada wanted to leave was because the yen is so abysmally low.
Yeah.
I heard that I believe I heard this through the Super J Cast. I heard them talk about how the yen is so low that apparently Okada is making roughly what he made as a rookie in his rookie year contract in New Japan.
It's like 30% less. So if you're getting paid the same that you're getting paid last year, technically, like in actual yen, it's still a pay cut of like 30% less.
Yeah. It's so incredibly low that there's solid reason for these guys to leave. Ospreay, a new stepfather. Okada, a new dad. These people now are not only looking out for themselves, they're looking out for at least two other people. It is a massive difference. Now, I will say about the Jay White stuff, I looked it up. It wasn't an Intercontinental Champion. He was the U.S. Heavyweight Champion first, and then once the Elite all left, he became the Heavyweight Champion.
Almost like Shota Umino could have won that same belt.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Card changes. I want to talk about this real quickly. Card changes made for New Japan. Of course, January 24th, they've changed it so that the never openweight 6-man tag titles are now being defended there in Korakuen Hall. So that is going to be obviously the never openweight champions, Okada, Tanahashi, Ishii, defending their titles against Fujita, Shane Haste, and Mikey Nichols.
Fujita should obviously pit him.
Yeah. This now also means that Zack Sabre Jr. is going to be facing Tiger Mask. And then February 11th, New Beginning Osaka. It's going to be Okada versus Tanahashi.
I can't believe you said that. It also means Zack Sabre Jr. is facing Tiger Mask.
That's what that means. And then, New Beginning Osaka, February 11th is now Okada and Tanahashi. Now, there is opportunity for Okada still has 2 dates left that are unmarked, I guess. That's still opportunity to put other guys over. February 23rd and 24th. We do not know whose opponents will be for those last 2 New Japan dates. There's still possibility that he puts someone over, puts 2 people over even, and that would be huge. It's a matter of who will win.
So for anyone wondering, Shingo Takagi, not Shingo Takagi, Yota Tsuji is in a 10-man tag on the 23rd. The next day he's facing Yu Uemura. So seemingly, if they were to want him to face Okada, it'd have to be that day. Shota Umino is not scheduled.
All right.
Yu Uemura obviously is in that same tag match. because that's the story they're doing. So your best bet, seemingly,
And this
unless
is, of
you
course,
want
the 2 dates of New Beginning Sapporo.
unless Gato and company are like, yeah, Okada, you gotta put them over back-to-back days, please. Like, unless that happens, which I highly doubt, because like, how are you gonna, unless Tsuji's gonna like absolutely walk through Yu and more the next day, how are you gonna have him beat Okada and then just be like, all right, here's the bigger match now, you and me, let's go, right?
Well, I mean,
like,
they could easily restructure those cards. They can put
yeah,
Yota Tsuji out of the tag and make an 8-man or something.
I guess my bigger problem is like that the whole sell for support the last night in Sapporo is that 5 singles matches, because it's just the replay from last year with LIJ and Congo, obviously.
Yeah.
So if there's anyone, I'm gonna guess it's Shota just based off cards, but I guess we'll see. It's tough. It's tough. And one thing I was thinking about, like, how did New Japan react? One thing that they haven't been doing is signing people from other companies.
Yeah.
I don't know how much longer we could just sit around and act like Kaito Kiyomiya should probably be part of New Japan Pro Wrestling. But boy, oh boy, if that guy ever is free, ever available, I am giving him plenty of money and going to get him. I also don't know how a certain guy in All Japan Pro Wrestling that, as far as I'm concerned, is probably still a freelancer at the very least, in Katsuhiko Nakajima, who's doing an Inoki gimmick, isn't a little more interesting now.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And then I'm also bringing back Oiwa to just, sooner rather than later. I think he's probably learned as much as he's going to learn in Noah, and sometimes the best way to learn is just putting him through the ringer. And I think the ringer is the New Japan Cup or G1. So I'm hoping he's back for one of those.
Let's talk about what changed, because obviously it feels like, as far as we know, as Dave Meltzer has talked about from The Observer, that Okada put his papers in. He's leaving New Japan, but has seemingly not made a decision about where he's going, or at the very least keeping it very close to the chest. When Nakamura left, we all knew where he was going. When Styles and all these people left, we had ideas. There's only one other place you can go. Where is he going? Now you have WWE, you have AEW. For the longest time, people talked about how WWE was the spot for Okada. And then when all this talk started to die away, now it's seeming like, according to at least Dave, is that AEW is not only a contender, but a top contender, at least with the financial perspective. Dave sort of breaks it down as, on one hand, you have AEW, who would probably pay Okada more money, or you have WWE, who will probably give less money to Okada, or has already offered less money than AEW than Okada, but in hopes that the quote-unquote WrestleMania moment will entice Okada into their arms. Now,
he's notably wanted, by the way.
Something he's notably wanted. I also think it's interesting that it's like a WrestleMania moment. What does that mean now that like AEW also has All In London, which is a same type of attendance, same number of attendance, but
it's not WrestleMania though.
Not WrestleMania. What does that mean? Does that change things? I don't know.
Right.
What about the WrestleMania moment is what people want, I guess, is the question.
Yeah,
like,
that's a big difference
being on the card. Is it just being on the card, or is it wrestling in front of 80,000 people?
Right. I guess the big difference with that, right, is he could be on All In even while staying in New Japan. So it's like
a great point. We saw that with Will Ospreay.
I don't know if that actually has much consideration. I think it'll just come down to like, what challenge does he want to face? Yep. WWE is an entire challenge in itself, but so is AEW. And we also have to sit here and realize this guy is 36 years old. His body is
same year as Nakamura when he left New Japan. Yep. Same age.
Yep. His body is broken down. Like, there's no doubt about it. This guy has been wrestling he's never taken time off. He wrestles the biggest of biggest matches year after year after year. His body is hurt. So no matter what, it's going to be easier for him. Whether it's an easier style in WWE or less matches in AEW, it's going to be easier for him. So that makes sense. Also, this guy did everything in New Japan. Because listen, he wasn't winning the mid-card belt. I accepted that long ago that they're just never going to have this guy do the global or the never. That's just not what they want to do with him. It's either it's IWGP or nothing. Had he ever been interested in that? Yeah, I agree. He hasn't done everything, but that ship sort of sailed.
He was not going to do that until like 10 years from now.
No, and look what he did with the 6-man. That ended up being some of the best stuff they've ever had in that division. But it's just not something he wanted to do. So in terms of his mind, he's done everything. He's wrestled everyone except for the new guys. And there's a new challenge out there. If you have him look at an AEW roster, it would be the best men's wrestling roster in the world. Sure. Period. This could be a roster that has Ospreay, Omega, Danielson, Okada, Swerve, Hangman, Samoa Joe. List goes on and on and on. Young Bucks,
Moxley,
right? Moxley, Darby Allin, Claudio. Like you see that, and if you're him, you're like, okay, these are new challenges. Or again, you look at WWE and you say, that is something that no one like myself has been able to completely climb to the top of.
Sure.
Shinsuke won the Rumble, but that's it, right? Obviously, on the women's side, there's been a lot more success, right? We've seen Asuka, we've seen Io, they've won the title, but on the men's side, that is something that no one's grabbed that top championship, and maybe he sees that and he's like, I can be the difference. It's something to consider because he seems like a guy that wants to challenge himself more than anything else. Well, making tons of money at doing so. Don't get me wrong, he is going to make plenty of money, but I don't have a necessary fear either way because, listen, if WWE is going to pay him a lot, because no matter what, he's getting paid a lot, they're going to do something with him. But I don't see Okada going anywhere besides AEW. I just don't see it because I feel like he has so many friends in AEW. It's a new challenge of America while being able to, likely go home from time to time and still be involved. That's where I'm at with it. But I guess we'll never know. We won't know until he pops up, probably.
What's also interesting about WWE for Okada is that, like you said, Japanese wrestlers on the male side have not done everything. That made me look down the rabbit hole of, has there ever been a Japanese world heavyweight champion for WWE? And the answer is technically yes. Antonio Inoki won it in 1979, but basically WWE does not recognize that title win, and it was a controversial title win, and they don't recognize it at all. So it's kind of been scrubbed from history. So technically yes, but kind of scrubbed from history. So that being said, Okada could, by going to WWE, have a chance of becoming the first ever Japanese world heavyweight champion for WWE, recognized by WWE.
And that's definitely something worth considering. But again, I don't expect him to go anywhere besides AEW just because of relationships he has, and I don't want to see him come out to any other theme song. And that's it. I really just don't want to see him come out to a different theme song.
So I'm trying to think. I've been going through like the pros and cons of each company, and I mean both are tough. I think. I mean, what I like about the AEW is obviously I would watch him. I would be interested in seeing that level of Okada again. In Okada and WWE, I mean, Connor, great question. Can Okada do 10-minute matches on WWE TV? I got no idea, my guy. I got no idea if he can do that sort of stuff. I mean, I'm sure he can, but another thing that I legitimately have to consider is, if Okada went to WWE, is he going straight to? He has to go straight to the main roster.
Yeah, he would go straight to the top.
But there's the part of my head of okay, WWE is not going to let him promo, so WWE is going to put some sort of person linked up with him, like some sort of manager to talk for him.
They can
What
take
is
Gato
that?
if they want.
Yeah. What? I don't think they'll take Gato, but
It
but
was a joke, but I was trying to get rid of him.
but basically they need a Gato type to come out, wear a giant headband over their eyes, and then talk for Okada. And it's like, who do they have that can do that? And it's like, I guess Heyman, but I think he's busy. It's just like I don't know what him in WWE would look like. Quite honestly, AEW makes all the sense in the world. WWE, it's like I don't know what that even will look like at all.
It's scary. That's why I can't really imagine it.
Yeah.
I just can't fully wrap my head around him actually going there. But wrestling's a weird place. Here's the thing. I don't think Tony Khan will let Okada go to WWE.
Based on the financial offer, I'm going to guess yes on that one.
I think he's going to keep putting money into it and not let it happen, because we saw it with Ospreay. He had the biggest offer right off the bat. And then there's the offer of being able to go home and stuff. If Okada's coming to America, he's not going to be able to stay in Japan every single week. That's just an absurd schedule. But he can still, go home from time to time. Oh yeah, we're just gonna have pre-tapes for you the next 2 weeks. Yeah, go back to Japan, right?
Whereas
Stuff like that.
Whereas WWE, he has to move to Florida, probably.
Yeah, you have to move to Florida. You got to do house shows. You got to do all that stuff. Yeah, I think there's an appeal with Okada in AEW where he's kind of like this Lesnar figure. I was talking to someone about this, not necessarily as sporadic as Lesnar, obviously.
Sure.
But, maybe you save his big matches just for pay-per-view, right? And it makes him must-see attraction. You can have or the big TV shows, right? The Winter is Coming, the New Year's Smash, the whatever, they have a million of them. So it wouldn't even be that bad because he would be wrestling. He would be wrestling at least once a month. And I understand you sign this guy and you want him around a lot, but part of AEW scheduling isn't just wrestling, as we know with a lot of people on this roster. It is doing stories and is doing stuff like that. So maybe that is a possibility at the end of the day. I don't know how New Japan reacts to a Okada signing with AEW at this stage, because there's got to be a limit eventually between these two. There has to be a limit.
I mean, there has to be a limit, but the same breath, it's like there's an argument to be made that AEW is sort of helping raise New Japan stock in the States. We just saw Battle in the Valley take place and have a great attendance number, and we just saw Windy City Riot sell out for what they had.
Yes, but I just give credit to Okada and Naito for those two. Anytime Okada comes in, numbers spike. Anytime, and this is a real Naito match, so that's a big difference. We know Naito's actually going to wrestle this match. It's not like Forbidden Door where he's just like,
"I'm here. I'll do some moves.
I showed up. Where's my paycheck?"
Well, I don't know if I would say Okada's. It's tough to say about the Okada stuff because the first Battle in the Valley, Mercedes Moné gets the credit for that one, and then this one gets the same amount of attendance.
Yeah, but they added him last second to some other show and it popped.
Yeah, he does pop. I'm just saying that was I almost feel like the Ospreay last match in the States before he leaves for AEW is probably the bigger draw than just Okada, but
I would say yes, but he's coming to the United States, so it doesn't do much for me.
Yeah. Whereas at Windy City Riot, obviously that's what the two matches they announced. That's what drew you in. But yeah, my argument there is in some ways it's is the relationship of AEW New Japan, is it a healthy relationship that is helping New Japan stay strong in the States or get stronger in the States rather? Remember when they first started doing these tours and it was some warehouse in North Carolina that I went to, and I'm seeing the U.S. title being defended and it's all right, this is all we get. And now it's world titles being defended.
Running less strong shows also has been the best possible decision.
I agree. But is it something that is AEW is helping them, is getting their stars in television, is putting the stars into the Western audience while on the home front in Japan, it's been tough. The yen is down, yada, yada, yada. Or is it something where the relationship is more parasitic in the sense of AEW is just allowing them to exist underneath AEW, and they'll put them over so much so that when they can put them over, they can entice them to immediately jump ship to AEW. That's, I think, the fear that some New Japan fans are probably having right now.
Here's an idea. Let me take everything from you and you get nothing back. And let me know if you enjoy
Well, hold
that
on. I get Jack Perry.
Right,
So-
right. Okay. No, you're right. You're right. I will give you I'll give you like one appearance per year of a few of my wrestlers, but you do get Jack Perry, who obviously was an absolute dud against your world champion last year. And I'm gonna take your top 3 biggest stars. Is that a fair trade?
Of course, it's not.
Are you okay with it? Oh, and I'm gonna take your top tag team, but that's done. That's your fault because you didn't give them money.
But here's also Moxley for the main event of Windy City Riot, and you're gonna sell out the show. You know what I mean?
Sure, but like that's one show.
I get it. I get your point. I completely agree with what you're saying here.
Because with New Japan, like we have to remember with Japanese wrestling, it's very different from American wrestling, right? American wrestling is about TV deals and all that garbage. They just want to sell tickets, and if you don't have Okada, you don't have Osprey, you don't have White, you don't have all these guys around to sell tickets. What are we doing here? Right? Like, oh, you gave me Danielson to sell one day of tickets. Thank you. Appreciate it. It's just so hard. It's so hard. Like this relationship, I think there is a good side of it. Obviously, it's that these guys can still appear.
Yeah.
And honestly, like with the international talent, I think it was okay. It's the Okada one that I feel like is the backbreaker because it's like your existence is taking him away from us in many ways. Because like I don't know if he does it if it's just WWE. I feel like the idea of being in a bidding war helps this as well.
Sure.
Like his stock's gonna go up. But you know, a decade ago this was never possible. But because AEW is around, there is interest in a guy like an Okada being a top star in America, something that would never, ever, ever have legs to it in the past because of whether it be just Vince McMahon running the circuit or, you know, the way these companies would think of, oh, well, he can't cut an English promo, so he can't be a star. It's not existent anymore. People know about New Japan, and that helps.
I think no matter where Okada goes, we're going to see a different kind of Okada, similar, like kind of like we saw with Nakamura. Where
Balloons?
Maybe you don't know. Like when I think of that, it's like I think WWE Okada is obviously wildly different. He's going to have a manager that's talked for him until he figures out they get to a point where they're okay with
English. He does talk English, but I
know, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean when I say that.
He's just going to do the money clip in those matches.
God. And the crowd's gonna go crazy. Finally, a crowd go crazy. The money clip. And then AEW. When I think of like him in AEW, I think of that random ass Okada Orange Cassidy tag team match that was on Dynamite a couple months ago, and just be like, to me, that's like what Okada will be like. I think like Okada and AEW is like tag team champions of Orange Cassidy, and that's upsetting thought to me. But that's kind of where I'm at. Can I hit you before we move off to this topic? Can I hit you with some hypothetical questions?
Hold on. You think Okada's only going to be tag team champions?
I'm not saying only tag team champion. That's just what he's not going to be the old Okada. So he's going to be different. If I'm picturing it like a 36-year-old Nakamura coming to WWE and cooling off a little bit, that's when I think of Jay White coming into AEW, it's cooled off immediately, and now he's a 6-man tag team champion. I don't think Okada is going to be. I don't know if Okada is going to be.
Are you saying hashtag AEW bad?
Oh, who knows? Who knows? I just don't know. That's
just the turntables.
That's just what I mean. Is I'm unsure if he was immediately going to be slotted in the world title picture. Because that's what we thought with maybe Jay White, and it took him a while, and then he lost everything.
If you're Tony Khan,
Ospreay,
and you have All In. How quickly do you book Omega versus Okada?
Well, I mean, assuming Omega is good by then, immediately.
I hope he's good by then, man. That would be tough, but yeah.
Can I hit you some hypotheticals?
No.
Okay, let's move on then.
Yeah, go ahead.
Um, hypothetical number one. What if it's not AEW? What if it's not WWE? How likely is it that it's like, let's say TNA? He just did a taping. We talked about this sort of feeling last minute. He just did a taping, comes back to Japan, thinks about it for like 2 days, trademarks the name Rainmaker, and then puts in his departure papers. What are the odds that it's TNA, a company that seemingly tried to offer Ospreay a giant amount of money? What if they offer that to Okada?
I give them a whopping 1% chance.
If it was TNA, what would that do for TNA? Are they immediately a number 2? Are they immediately selling out giant arenas?
No.
Fair enough.
The rest of their roster is not there.
Yeah. It would be like, as I'm doing my research now for the ballot, it would be like almost like Kento Miyahara in All Japan. It's, it's a great star, but with the rest of the roster, you can't really go anywhere with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it would certainly elevate them to a certain extent, but I don't think it elevates them that much. Hypothetical number 2. Is there any possibility that this is actually a very good thing for New Japan? In the sense that we were told almost daily that so many people's contracts were running up for New Japan, right?
Yeah.
And the yen is so low. So there's an argument of how many of these people are they going to be able to keep because the yen is so low. Is there an argument to be had that Okada, along with Ospreay leaving, frees up so much money in New Japan's financial, paychecks that they will now be able to retain all of that younger, lower level roster that they can hopefully evolve in the next couple a year to 5 years to those top level replacement stars? Is there a point where we could have had a mass exodus of lower card people, or we lose Okada? Which is better?
See, I don't see it as a good thing because you could sign people that, if you combine them all, don't even touch him in terms of star power.
Sure.
But I see it could be a good thing long term for them, just in having to force themselves to be better. Okada leaving is really bad for Japanese pro wrestling. It's really bad. Like,
it's currently already bad, and now the top star's leaving.
Like this is a guy who was talking about, oh, we're all gonna work together, we're all gonna do this, we're all gonna do that. And he, anytime you put him on a show, it's like, okay, this is huge, this is gigantic. Losing him means anyone can go, and that's not good. That's not good at all.
This could be, a bunch. It's like that thing of like you're putting tape over a bunch of holes in a sinking ship. It's like this could be a mass exodus, a slowly over the course of the year, a mass exodus.
So the one thing though I will say is we have to also remember there are people that just do not want to go to America. We can't all just think like, oh my God, they're gonna sign every wrestler under the sun and they're gonna all head to America. Like, some people just don't want to do that. Tetsuya Naito couldn't want to go to America less. If it was like, this guy's like, no, I have no interest. Like, why can I not just be the best here?
I get the impression that Taichi is someone that doesn't want to be in America.
Exactly. So
has he been on any single American US show for New Japan?
No. There are people who don't have any part of them that want to go. And there are also some that are, I think, hungry to prove themselves in New Japan. So like, those are the ones you don't have to worry about. But it's still scary. It's still scary for the future. It's still scary for them. But I do think that New Japan grows from this because they have to. There's no choice. You have to grow from this. You have to grow from losing your ace of the past, 12 years?
Yeah.
There's no choice. And you can't depend on Tanahashi to save you.
Yeah.
You can't depend on Naito to save you. Naito's a guy who has no knees, barely any vision, but he's doing his best. And we know how Tanahashi is. He's now present. He's slowing down no matter what. He's already said that. So it's sink or swim now for the whole company. And if the booking doesn't get better, then it might be time to consider a change there too.
I think to end a cap on this conversation, the Kazuchika Okada era, that peak of New Japan, both financially and just sort of match quality, even let's say, officially over.
Yep.
Officially over. This is, you can talk about, a couple of years ago that being the end. This is officially over, and now New Japan is something new in March. Let's say, in March it has to be something new. Which right around the corner, New Japan Cup. They have.
I give them. I think that's fair because like some people are like, oh my god, the first post Okada announcement show was terrible. It's like I don't count these New Beginning cards as part of
that New Beginning card was gonna be what it was, no matter if Okada was leaving or not.
Like you looked at that card, and there was never a moment that I was like, oh, you know what, this is gonna be great. No, that was gonna suck no matter what.
You can't tell me Tama Tonga took it easy because Okada was leaving.
Right, you know what I mean? Right. Like I think you're right. It starts with that anniversary event.
Mm-hmm.
Because that the day after that's the New Japan Cup and so on and so forth. We always talk about how the New Year Dash is the way to kick off the new year. Not this time. No. There's a buffer zone. Mm-hmm. There is shit, we got to get our stuff together. So now we look at the anniversary and on as what is this next era of New Japan truly going to look like. Yeah. And hopefully by the end of the New Japan Cup, we're feeling a little bit better.
I completely agree with that, Scotty. Did we talk about New Beginning Nagoya since we kind of brought it up?
It was terrible. It was terrible. Like I watched. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now. I watched one match.
You only watched one. I watched the top 3, baby.
Okay. I'm not watching a muscle match, and I'm never ever watching a Chase Owens match. You knew this was a show that I was not going to attend. I barely wanted to watch Tama Tonga and Evil, but I was like, I feel like I got to. One, because it's Tama Tonga's last show, and 2, because Evil won.
Yeah. Plus,
I gave it a half star.
You know my take on Tama Tonga.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, maybe they shocked me. I gave them a half star.
God,
it was so boring.
Yeah, it was rough. The top 3, I'll walk you through the first 2.
All right. Buckle up. Here we go, folks.
The KOPW title Ishimori ring fit match was I don't know what it was trying to accumplish.
Did you ever have a Wii Fit? Was it like that?
No. So
they stand on the board and we're like, no.
It was like every 2 minutes they would have to do a certain number of exercises in I think a minute time span, and if they don't accomplish it, they have to do it again. I think that's what it was. And Ishimori coming out here and just like doing sit-ups like this, Scotty, where he's just like going super fast, ridiculously fast. Like the point of it was to make Great-O-Khan look out of shape while Ishimori was still in shape. And then ending with, I believe the ending was you have to hold the title at the end of 10 minutes. I think, and then it ends with Great-O-Khan doing that. I don't really know what was happening here. It was real bad. New Japan Strong Openweight Tag Team title match. Also, very boring. 21 minutes, way too long for a Kenta Chase Owens match.
It's Kenta just walking around doing this exact match again.
I know, because you know what the story of this match was. Man, Chase Owens and Kenta just can't get on the same page. That was the entire story of the match. Doing moves onto each other on accident. Stuff like that.
Oh, God.
So
if there's anything that could save New Japan, it would be Kenta for some reason wanting to work.
Where's Noah Kenta? Let's get him in here. In
Noah.
In Noah. It was just sort of like 20 minutes of Kenta and walking around, Chase Owens not being that good. And then the story of they just can't get it together. And it's like, oh, okay, so they're just actively being bad for story. And just great. And then the never openweight title match. Evil versus Tama Tonga starts as a normal match, then it turns into a giant brawl, then it turns into a lumberjack match. It gets better, but it doesn't really go anywhere. It's nowhere close to anything in their past. as an evil Tama Tonga rivalry defender. It's nowhere close to anything to that. I think it wasn't good. It
was
good.
doo-doo stinky. It was ass. I was like, all right, get Tama Tonga out of here. Just done. Like, goodbye. You're leaving. Goodbye. That's how I feel.
Yeah. No, I mean, afterwards, it was just afterwards, it was like, touching to like, okay, see a guy go through that emotionally, but it was still very much like, when I think of the New Japan career of Tama Tonga, the whatever decade-long career of Tama Tonga New Japan, I'm glad that he has sort of had this emotional moment. It means a lot to him and other roster members, but I think most people are like, all right, goodbye. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. It's like, I don't know where he's going to go. I don't know what he's going to do. Now Okada is out in the free agent market. Where are you going to, what is Tama Tonga going to do? ML Dub? I don't know.
NXT, or TNA. He actually makes a lot of sense for TNA.
He does, actually. That would make sense. And him and do Tonga Loa too. You got a little tag team there too.
Yeah,
I won't like that in the tag division.
Went a little too far.
That's fair.
Yeah, like this show was rough. This was a rough show. When is the other title match? The tag title match?
I don't know.
I can't find it. I look at this damn schedule. I'm like, when does hell come back around?
It probably doesn't happen for a while. Because there's a show, I guess there was a show this morning, and that didn't have anything on it. It had a 10-man tag, it looked like. We have a show this Tuesday that has the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title match, and then we have a show this Wednesday, the 24th, which has the 6-man tag team title match, and then Shota Umino versus Ren Narita as well. So,
I found it. It's February 4th. Oh, nope, that's the junior heavyweight match. Never mind. I have no idea.
He will continue to look. I will say also, like, at least if Ospreay leaving, there's also an argument of like Ospreay should also be putting over the young guys as he's on his way out. And I've seen some people say that, like, and to be fair, it's like I guess that's the frustration. It's like I don't necessarily blame New Japan for not having Okada put over the young guys when they fully expected at some point that he was staying.
Yeah,
but
I blame him for Ospreay.
They actively knew Ospreay was leaving for months, and Ospreay didn't really put over any young guy other than, let's say, Tsuji and Shota Umino and losing efforts.
Yeah. Woo!
And the only guy, but to be fair to that, I think the only guy he's actually putting over probably in a month's time that really actively needs it is he's putting over David Finlay, and that guy needs to be put over. Again, we'll try it again with David Finlay.
Sometimes it fails in pro wrestling. We could happily admit that one was a fail.
Mm-hmm.
I did find it. It's on the Nagoya show with Danielson. By the way, it's happening.
The Nagoya show or the Osaka?
Whatever. I don't know what it's called. Osaka. Sorry. It's happening after Okada and Tanahashi. Like that's the match after that.
Yeah, this is February 11th. Okada Tanahashi. Then
might be the last time ever that match happens, and they're like, "Yep."
And that's the fifth.
Kenta and Chase Owens after this.
The fifth match. Honestly though, that's an interesting show. You have
a very good show.
You have Okada Tanahashi for the last time. You have the IWGP Tag Team Championship match, which would be a snore. You have Sabre versus Danielson, with probably Sabre winning. And then you have the steel cage match.
Yeah.
Which I'm hyped for. Super hyped for.
Yeah, you're a big guy. You're a big Oswang fan. What was the guy's things called?
Oswag.
The Oswag.
Yeah. Yeah, I really
look at that lineup. Boy, there's a lot of wrestlers I don't like in that match.
Yeah, that's fair.
But it should be interesting.
Yeah, it should be. I mean, at least I'm excited for it. I think that should be a good show. But yeah,
there is the love.
It's gonna be a tough one, folks. It's gonna be a tough New Japan moving forward. I think you're right that Anniversary and New Japan Cup are really where we have to go off of. Right now, this is just gonna be an awkward period of goodbyes.
These big New Beginning shows, for the most part, are pretty good.
Yeah, I'm
The
fine.
big ones.
It's going to be a sprinkle of interesting matches here and there. And then we're starting with a goodbye of Tama Tonga and ending with a goodbye to Okada.
That is tale of two goodbyes.
Yeah. Yeah, and then anniversary.
Okada bye 2024.
Now we're talking, baby. Now we're talking. Okada bye. Oh man, he has bye on all over his pants or whatever.
Interesting. The yen is down with Keiji Muta no longer wrestling. It's almost like the yen was like, we don't have to keep giving him money. We could take a while. We could take a night off, day off, year off. Needs to get back up though. I don't know how I get the yen back up, but I'm going to do everything in my power to do it, guys.
Obviously, what actually happened there is Muto knew that the yen was falling, and so he joined the WWE Hall of Fame so he can get that Legends contract, so that he can get a boatload of money. The guy always
hardest pro wrestler of all time.
He's like one of those truffle pigs. Like he knows where the money is and knows where it's coming.
The money.
Let's talk about some other contract news real quickly before we move on to the Royal Rumble, because that's going to take a bit of time as well. Black Taurus was a little announcement here where Black officially signs with AEW / Ring of Honor. I assume just the Ring of Honors. This is talked about it through Lucha Blog, Cubs fan. He talked about recently how he's leaving AAA and going free agent. He is then now joined with AEW and Ring of Honor. Problem being is that he will not be called Black Taurus and he will not look like Black Taurus.
That's how you cannot be excited.
Yeah.
All right. What are we calling him? What kind of sick mask are we getting him?
I don't know. Negro Bull, is that something? Is that anything?
Nope.
So Taurus first, this according to this Observer, Taurus first adopted the name in 2015 while wrestling with AAA, and AAA owns the rights to Taurus. Obviously, when he was on the Independence and with Impact, it was called Black Taurus, and apparently that is also still owned by AAA. So he cannot use Taurus, he cannot use Black Taurus, and apparently also he can't use the mask. They own the rights to the mask as well. Yeah, I would have to imagine two things. Well, there's multiple things that we can go from here. Number one,
that is the worst.
Triple H is the worst. Number two, there will probably be another Black Taurus in AAA at some point this year. Right? There will undoubtedly will be. Number three, this rules. Him and Black Taurus and AAA, AEW and Ring of Honor rules ass. That's so awesome. I can't wait for it. Number four, what do you think this means about the AAA AEW relationship?
Hopefully it's dead.
I always know what your answer is going to be whenever you do answers.
Vikingo isn't worth it. There's this whole CMLL out there.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole CMLL out there. You know who I think I prefer over Vikingo? I think I enjoy Dorada more. I much enjoy watching him more these days. You know why? Because I feel like I've seen Vikingo do his thing.
Once you've seen a bunch of Vikingo matches and you know what it is, it's like, all right, I get it. I get what's going on here.
It's when he's like in a multi-man, right? Because it's different. A big Vikingo singles, kind of the same thing. But yeah, hopefully AAA is go away. Black Taurus having to dramatically change his character is very upsetting because Black Taurus
great look.
Rules.
Like such a good look.
In the words of Ryan Nicey, Black Taurus rules.
Mm-hmm. I have that on a pillow. And then embroidered.
Give me Eddie Kingston versus whatever the hell Black Taurus is at Supercard of Honor.
Oh, that would be
You're
good.
welcome.
That would be good. Just looking at it, Vikingo technically hasn't worked AEW or Ring of Honor since the partnership of TNA and AAA was officially signed. Now, granted, the Honor Club episode aired after TNA, Hard to Kill, but it was, he wrestled before then. So
guess we'll have to wait and see. Maybe it's dead.
Yes, relationship. That's what's, I think, the more interesting part.
Oh, no. Boo hoo. Whatever will we do?
If only we can get Mystico in here. Now
we're talking, baby. No, we need Dorada. That's what we need.
I've already pitched Black Taurus versus Hechicero. What
we
more
need
can I do?
5-star Dorada, baby. 5-star Dorada. First ever 5-star match in CML history comes via Mascara Dorada. Eat your heart out, Metalik. Eat your heart out. Oh, you guys shouldn't be doing this crazy stuff anymore. You gotta slow it down. You gotta do rest holds. You gotta do headlocks. And then when you do the one cool move of the match, oh, the crowd will go crazy. Yeah, screw you, buddy. You lost your name. You lost your contract. No one wants you. Goodbye.
You lost your name. You lost your mask, basically.
Yeah, they straight up were like, yeah, you get nothing, bud. Yeah. We have a new one, and he's better.
Yeah, he can move way faster.
Did you get a 5-star match? No. Did he? Yep.
Did anyone? No. Me, baby.
Did anyone in CL history get it? No. Did he? Yep.
Did Hall of Famer Mystico get one? Of course not.
Hey, Mystico just is here to work tickets, baby. Yeah, he's here to work crowds and get tickets.
And that's drawing money, baby. That's the ultimate job. Not these 5
my money.
That's maybe Metal League is right. He's got to be making money, not doing this high flying bullshit. He's got to be making money out there.
Well, Mystico used to do the high flying bullshit. Now he's just like, yeah, and the crowd goes, woo, and it's like it's perfect every single week.
I forgot what I was gonna say here. Mascara Dorada 100% showing up in AEW at some point this year, right?
Oh, he has to. He's going everywhere else. Like CMLL is going out of their way to put him in everything. I think he's going to do Best of Super Junior.
I think, that's a very good. I think that's very likely. I was going to say that I could see him versus
Top Star.
I think there'll be him versus Rocky on like Ring of Honor, Super Card of Honor in April. I think that if I had to put one thing down, it's that.
If it's not Rocky, I really don't give a shit who it is, just to make sure it's someone.
Mm-hmm. Other news, Seth Rollins, it was revealed that he has suffered a torn MCL and partially torn meniscus after last week's WWE Raw main event against the cage match holder Jinder Mahal.
Hindered.
Just Seth Rollins has officially been hindered. We shouldn't joke about that. He does have a legit injury. It's just
I'm not joking. I'm just laughing.
There's distinct difference. So Fightful reported obviously that he suffered a torn MCL and partially torn meniscus. Don't know what's going to happen with it afterwards. He is going to address his future tomorrow night. What do you think this means to Seth Rollins? Is he giving up the title? Is he going to be at WrestleMania? What's going to happen here?
It depends on if he needs surgery or not, because a torn MCL and a meniscus is tough. This guy has the worst luck ever, right? Like every time this guy gets a big push, this poor guy gets hurt right before the big show. He got hurt when he was going to face Triple H at WrestleMania.
I was just looking that up. He ended up working that match though.
He did, but he didn't do anything else until then, and he's now the world champion.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little different, right? You can't just kind of gut it out through promos. You can, but it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be really tough. I think he's gonna try. I do. He's really beat up though. And there's this problem in wrestling now, or always has been, where these guys just refuse to sit down until after their big match or big show. But boy, oh boy, it sure does feel like we may now have a new world champion by the end of WrestleMania. And his name is CM Punk.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. I mean, we're all just
turntables. Again, second time I said that to show.
It's going to be interesting to see where we go with Seth Rollins.
Money.
Why'd you play Money there? I don't understand how that's.
I'm just off the rails now.
Oh, you're officially off the rails.
I ranted about Metalik, and I am now coming back from that.
You're going off that high. Well, yeah, Seth Rollins. We'll see what happens with him on Monday.
Hopefully he's okay,
mean-
obviously, but sure doesn't sound like it.
No.
This guy's poor knees. Oh,
Mhm.
that's been his problem every single time.
He's turning into Muta before our eyes.
That's not a bad thing.
The Seth Rollins bye-bye tour.
Oh my god.
Moving on. Moving on. Royal Rumble is happening this Saturday. Big time WWE PLE event. I think actually the E stands for event, right?
You want to hear my hot take?
Sure.
Still a top 3 favorite show of mine because
the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, it's just fun.
It's fun. It is. I think the Royal Rumble match itself is like so invocative. It's like peak WWE. It's a schmoz fest of a match that ultimately isn't that great.
No, the match quality. No.
But it's because it's all about entrances, crowd chants, of counting down timers. It's everything that you would want in a WWE match.
Yeah,
that works for a full hour. The crowd's always into it for like a full hour.
I really enjoyed last year's, even though they did the reverse order with Cody and Gunther that I would have done. Yeah, it's just fun. That's the whole thing. Like, I just have a good time watching it. It's trying to guess the numbers of who's gonna win. It's trying to, and this year, like, the men's rumble has multiple picks. Like, I think we know who's winning, but
Akira Tozawa, we can all agree.
Exactly. Akira Tozawa's gonna do his little dance. And that's gonna eliminate everyone. I have no idea who's winning the women's. I'm not gonna lie to you. No clue.
Yeah,
I don't even know if there's any announced people for this damn thing.
I got a list of announced people. But before we get to the Royal Rumble, let's get to the other title matches. We got Logan Paul versus Kevin Owens for the United States title.
The work rate match, baby.
That's a work rate match if I've ever seen one.
What happened? Why is the work rate matches for these shows always Logan Paul?
Well, they haven't signed Okada yet, of course. Logan Paul versus Kazuchika Okada. That might be bringing up things in Logan Paul's past that he doesn't want to be brought up. Oh no, that's a terrible idea. Oh god, that's so bad.
We're gonna walk that one back.
Can we have a walk back button? Is that something? Is that a sound cue that we got?
Let me see.
Money.
That'll work.
That'll work for now. Logan Paul versus my face is red. Logan Paul, Kevin Owens. Should be good. I mean, I don't think it should be bad. They've been built up pretty well.
Tozawa dance.
Do you think the Tozawa dance is completely a reaction to the Daniel Garcia dance? That's my interpretation of it all. It should be good. It's about punching each other in the face. It will probably end with Logan Paul doing the brass knuckles to Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
And that's probably how he retains the title.
I hope it's really good. Kevin Owens is really good.
I'm saying 3.5 or above. That's where I'm at right now.
That's a good spot.
It's a good spot. That's what I want.
I'm happy with 3.5.
4-way match for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. Roman Reigns, of course, defending his title against Randy Orton, AJ Styles, and LA Knight.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. We have a button for that, don't we?
Yeah, but I do.
Yeah.
LA Knight.
Acknowledge me.
Oh, darn. Didn't quite work there. Scotty, what thoughts on this fatal 4-way?
Roman wins. Roman wins, LOL.
Roman wins. The Rock comes out afterwards.
That would be smart. That would be smart. Because think about this. This was a good point made by Observer Radio. The Peacock has a ton of buys from them having a NFL playoff game just like a week or two ago on Peacock, and you can only watch it on the cock. So like you automatically have it run over for Royal Rumble because you bought a month.
Yeah.
If there's ever a time to just try and add a few new fans for WrestleMania, it's this show.
Mm-hmm.
Tossing old Dwayne on there might not be a bad idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think it is.
I think this match is going to be one of those like WWE car crash matches that are really good, or I walk away from it feeling nothing. I think Randy's obviously. I think this match benefits all four. Actually,
I
does that
agree.
make sense? Like if it
Yeah.
was a singles match of Roman versus any one of them, I'd be like, who the hell cares? But now it's a 4-way. It's like, okay, it'll be fun.
Yeah, I think you get the you get to intersperse the Roman Reigns slowdowns with actual other wrestling with other guys. AJ Styles is ginormous. Randy Orton is also ginormous, but still very good. And LA Knight, he's in here where you can sort of hide the LA Knight's, his weak spots a little bit.
Yeah, because he's good with the hot. He's good with the hot like
Mhm.
tag type spots.
Mhm.
I realized that I actually really like Randy when he's not like. I don't know. He got boring for like a lot of the 2010s, but I don't know. He's fun now.
Yeah.
He's just fun.
Part of it, I think, is the juice.
Yeah, I just realized that this show is sponsored by Suicide Squad, the same thing that sponsored AEW
Really?
Dynamite this
Really?
past week.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
That's legitimately
I
fascinating.
know Samoa Joe was doing the voice acting for the game when he was in WWE, but he's not in WWE anymore. So
Interesting.
maybe
Let's talk about the men's Royal Rumble. Well, no, should we do the men's or the women's? What do you want to do
do
first?
the women's first because
Nice. So you want to walk us through what we're doing here, Scotty?
yeah. So every year, I think we've done this for 3 years now, which
Yeah, I think every year that we've covered, I think the Royal Rumble.
which is a couple now. So what we do is we do a couple superlatives, and then we see who gets the most right, and the winner gets a hook hat. No, I have no idea. The winner gets nothing. They just get to brag on the show. That's truthfully all that happens.
Mm-hmm. Every year I've lost.
Yes. So it's been like a double down type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Where I was like, yeah, we'll just keep going. Every year where he's lost. But
the moment I win, we'll stop doing this.
Yep. Or someone will actually get a prize finally. But it's fun. We do winner, first in, second in, longest, most eliminations, 30th, final 4, and we get a random number. The random number is really the most fun part because it's the number that you have for the Rumble. It's like, oh, if the winner comes in, you pretty much win
whoever's number. If we do the random number and it's 17, if number 17, whoever comes out wins the Royal Rumble, then we're.
I think that was actually the prize, and we've never gotten the number, so it's never mattered. I've won the actual superlative things, but we never get the number right. It's actually impressive. Last year I had Gunther and Sheamus coming in first and second, but I had it reversed.
Yes, that was so funny. Well, let's go through it. Let's go through the Women's Royal Rumble. The people have already been announced for the Women's Royal Rumble so far are Bayley, Nia Jax, Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, and Maxine Dupree.
That doesn't excite you. I don't know what does.
We'll go through this now. Who do we think is? I guess we'll start here. The first in, second in. Who do you think the first two people starting the Royal Rumble is going to be?
Really sucks that there's 4 people. Sorry, 5 people announced for this.
Yep. Yeah, I pulled up the rest of the women's roster to be like, all right, who else is in it? Who else is available?
Yeah, I'll go with Bianca Belair
as which one?
Number 1, and I'll go with Kyrie as number 2.
Oh, that's actually very interesting. That is very interesting.
Kyrie, does she have Sane on her name?
Yes, I believe she does.
Well, I'm not gonna call her that.
I believe she's sane, and rather not insane.
In the membrane?
Okay, my number 1 and number 2 have to be better be I'm telling you right now, Scotty, I put zero thought into this to prepare for this segment.
Hey, me too.
Perfect.
Thought we were doing it. You just got to
I
name 2 wrestlers.
I know.
We're going to be wrong.
I know. I'm going to say, wasn't Bianca Belair like number 1 or number 2 last year?
A couple of years ago. Rhea was number 1 last year and she won.
That's what it was. Yeah, that's my because they did that last year where it's basically they tease like the number 1, number 2 people winning the whole thing.
I like to do that a lot now lately.
I know, and that's why I'm sort of like, it's now I have to put into the thought of whoever's number 1, number 2 has to be like a legitimately possible person that can win the whole thing. Yeah. I'm gonna say, let's have fun with it. I'm gonna say Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
Let's go real wild with it. Trish Stratus, number 2.
Oh, all right.
Let's do Becky Lynch, Trish Stratus, number 1, number 2.
If you're right on that, you should just win the women's superlatives.
That'd be wild.
I also consider Becky.
I also considered Naomi as a
good one.
Maybe a Bianca Naomi sort of thing, or I don't know, Bailey Naomi. I don't know. There's no one really else I would put Naomi with. Maybe I don't know.
All right, let's do longest. Who do you think will be longest in the match?
I think the longest in the match will probably be. I think it'll probably be Becky. If she's going to be in early, I think she's going to be in for the long haul.
Yeah, that's why I'm going with Bianca.
I think that's fair.
Easy switch. Most eliminations, I'm going to do Nia.
Ooh, that makes sense. That really makes sense. She either gets
Rodriguez is in it this year, and she was the most last year, I believe.
She's not been announced for it, but I don't know if she's injured or anything.
She's been injured. I don't know if she still is.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Money.
No, I don't think she's gonna do it. I'm just gonna get real wild with it. I'm gonna say Asuka.
Okay, that's a good one.
I think you're right though with Nia Jax.
Y'all want to go big? Then say that. Sorry.
What's that a reference to?
That's Big E's theme song.
I forgot about that. Is he returning at the Rumble? Do we do a prediction?
This is his home, though. Tampa Bay is his home.
He's probably returning, isn't he?
I hope so. That'd be awesome.
He returns to the women's. What the?
Are you on the WWE roster page?
No, I'm just on like some Wikipedia thing.
Well, can you go to the WWE roster page real quick and go to Channing Stacks Lorenzo's picture?
Oh, of course. I've never moved faster. The Channing Stacks Lorenzo.
You just gotta see that this is so broken. It's been this way.
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's real bad. Rhea Ripley's was like that for a long time.
That's a bad person to pick. All right. 30. Who do you have at 30?
Let's see. Who would be a 30 person?
Money.
I would be. Do you think if Money shows up here, I would legitimately be shocked? I think, based off all of the news,
I think people would cry.
Well, that is 100% true. That is 100% true.
Both her fans in happiness and AEW fans in sadness.
I think number 30 is Liv Morgan still injured?
Oh,
Liv Morgan, she's still injured.
Yeah, she's still out.
It's gotta be someone that like is probably not gonna win, but is like a reasonable person that could win.
Sure. Like a Naomi.
No. I'm gonna say Bailey.
Okay. I think she's the favorite.
Yeah.
To win.
No. We'll see.
She is the favorite to win based off like betting odds and what people keep picking, but I couldn't fucking tell you.
Well, who do you think the 30th is?
It's probably gonna be like some legend that no one cares about, truthfully.
We do have. I don't know how many women we have.
I'm pretty sure they've had Dana Brooke come out at 30 like multiple times, so I don't think it's gonna be Ash by Elgin.
What?
I know. Maybe I'm wrong. What if it's Charlotte?
Impossible.
Have you seen her workout videos? What if they just lied?
No, impossible. No way.
Okay, I'm just saying there's a chance that this company lied. I'm just saying it's not new for them. I don't know who the hell is in this company. Wow, who the hell is Carmen Petrovic? Who the hell is that?
They do have 30 plus women's wrestlers on the roster, so they could all have just the roster. Not
Who do you end up picking? Bailey?
I did Bailey.
That's a good pick. I really want to pick Tiffany Stratton.
Who'd you say? What name did you just say?
Carmen Petrovic.
Oh, I think that's probably some NXT person.
Yeah, I figured. I really want to pick Tiffany Stratton.
Oh, Tiffany Stratton would be a good spot here.
Tiffany Stratton should win.
How do you spell Carmen? It's with a K, probably, right?
Yeah.
They
have vacant under their roster.
You scrolled all the way down to vacant.
I'm picking Tiffany Stratton. I've convinced myself that this would be cool.
Tiffany Stratton at number 30. All right. Who is your final four?
Becky, Bailey, Bianca, and oh boy. Probably like this is, by the way, completely ignoring everything else that I've picked because I feel like this is the time I can get 4 points. And like probably like Naya, I guess. I'm just gonna go safe.
Lynch. So you're saying that
Becky, Bailey, Bianca, Naya.
Yeah. Okay. So most eliminations will be in there. Longest and also number 1 will be in there to the end. Bailey will be in there. Lynch will be in there. I'm going to say Lynch. I'm going to say Stratton.
Yeah. Woo.
I'm going to say Naomi.
Yeah. Woo.
And I'm going to say Bailey.
Yeah. Woo. I want to pick Tiffany so bad. Actually, can I change Naya?
Sure.
To Tiffany.
Watch.
Just because it's better. It's gonna be Naya.
Tiffany gets eliminated at the 5th person.
Tiffany's not even gonna be in the damn thing. But for my interest levels, I want Tiffany Stratton in the final 4.
Who do you think is winning the Women's Royal Rumble?
Bailey. You know why? Because it's either her or it's either her or Becky.
Yeah, I think Becky.
And Becky's already won one.
Becky's already won one. They could do a two-peat for her against Rhea.
Surprise.
If they do Bailey, that will officially sort of start the story of her team, going against her.
Yep.
I'm going to go with Becky Lynch, though.
Good. I'm happy to pick the 2 different ones.
I like the idea of Becky winning the Women's Royal Rumble a year after Rhea won it, and then Becky going on to WrestleMania and losing.
Sure.
Because they've set up that idea that, like, I think you might be better than me. And you almost have to have Becky lose. Like, almost have to have, like, Becky win the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. Now that I say that, going in at first is a terrible idea. You have to have Becky, like, win the Royal Rumble, show that she's, like, better than everybody else, and then lose to Rhea.
Yeah.
It will put over Rhea more.
Yeah. All right. Here comes your random number. This is yours. I'm pressing. I have.
Well, can we do some hold music before we get to the number?
Yeah, go ahead.
Money.
And my number is
number 9.
Oh,
it could be good for the Women's Rumble.
It could be fine. That could be fine.
All right.
Watch it be like it's gonna be like, I don't know, Katrina Petrovic or whatever the fuck you said.
Katrina Petrovic. Carmen.
Whatever.
All right. And drum roll, please.
Money.
I got 13.
Ooh, lucky 13 over here.
And you wrote all these down?
Yes, I have it all written down here.
Will they be in the Slack?
I can put them in the Slack.
All right, cool. All right, now let's do the men's rumble. First in,
second in. Do you want to start first?
By the way, the official members per WWE.com.
Yes.
For the Rumble are Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, Shinsuke Nakamura, Bobby Lashley, and Drew McIntyre.
I also have here listed Gunther is announced on January 15th.
Okay, WWE's website's stupid. What do you want me to say?
And then announced yesterday on YouTube channel, Chad Gable, Otis, and Akira Tozawa. A little bit for the visual people. First in, second in. What are you thinking? Gunther, Sheamus again?
I think Sheamus will be in the Rumble. But
where's Sheamus? Is he injured?
He's been injured, but I think he's good to go. I think that's been the report. I felt so good about it last year. And they really like to start off the men's Rumble with like a real wrestling match now.
Yeah.
Which is nice because I had a great time last year. How about, if you feel me, say what's up. It's not going to be R-Truth. That should be.
Could be. It could be. R-Truth versus Damian Priest.
Who the frick is on this roster, man? Do I pay attention to this? I do. I just only know the main eventers, so.
Dirty Dom at number one.
Oh man.
Dirty Dom versus R-Truth to start.
Dirty Dom comes in and then some heroic baby face. Like Javier Bernal.
or main roster member Odyssey Jones.
What?
Remember he got drafted in the run and never showed up?
Yeah. What's the chance that they put Logan Paul in this thing? 100?
Probably
last year.
Right. Yeah, but it wasn't.
They should put Oba Femi in this.
That's an interesting idea.
Who says no to a little bit of Oba Femi action? I'm going to go with Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn.
In that order?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Because it matters. Last year it mattered. Are you positive?
I'm not positive at all this year.
Perfect.
I couldn't. Last year I was so locked in. This year, no clue.
You know what I'm locked into this year? First in, second in?
Shane O'Mac.
No, Shane O'Mac, Snoop Dogg. No, first in Cody Rhodes, second in Gunther.
Oh boy, that's a good one.
Last two from last year, starting off this year.
That's a good one.
That's where I'm at.
You're all the smoking mirrors. All right, longest. So you're gonna say Cody.
Oh yeah, I'm saying Cody.
I was gonna say Cody as well this year.
You want to lock in Cody?
But I'm gonna go Cody. Maybe that'll save my ass if he's like second or first.
Sure. Most eliminations. I don't freaking know. Braun still injured.
Braun Breaker?
Yeah. No, not Braun Breaker. Braun Strowman.
How about Brock Lesnar?
Ooh, he's showing up sometime soon.
Yeah,
right?
I said soon. So usually when I see soon, I see
Rumble.
Yeah.
Brock returns to the Rumble.
And then Gunther, he eliminates Gunther. Oh baby. Ooh, I like my ideas.
Brock versus Gunther, baby. Ooh. Now we're talking. Brock, the IC champion. Yeah, baby.
You do most eliminations first. I went first last time.
I'm gonna say Bronson Reed.
Oh,
put over new big heavy guy.
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna go. I'm between Drew and Brock, but I'm going with Drew because I know he's in the Rumble.
Okay, that's fair. I think that's a safer bet. Who's number 30?
Big E. I'm locked in. Y'all want to go big? Then say that. Yeah.
What a weird start. Start to a song.
Yeah. I need that beginning as one of our new buttons.
I was just thinking that. Well, then you work on that, I guess. No, because you have to mute me for that for some reason.
I'll do that post show.
Okay. Number 30 for me, I'm going to say CM Punk. I think if CM Punk is going to be in the Rumble, he's going to be in the Rumble.
Yeah. Be like, oh yeah.
I think if CM Punk is going to be in the Rumble, it's going to be the least amount of time. That's my opinion. Final four. I'll go first. I'm going to say Cody, Punk, easy. After that, it kind of depends on the Seth of it all. I'll say maybe McIntyre.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think we need a Roman guy. Who would be a good
Roman guy? Isn't Cody a Roman guy?
Or maybe give someone some sort of rube, some sort of rub. Karrion Kross. No. Karrion Kross could actually get the most eliminations. Karrion Kross actually could get the most eliminations.
Or he could get 0.
Or I would love for him to get 0.
Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar at a Final Four. That's interesting.
Sounds dangerous.
That is very dangerous. I'm gonna say Priest.
Oh, gross.
Rhodes, Punk, McIntyre, Priest.
I'm not gonna put Big E here.
Very Raw heavy, that one.
If Big E's actually in the Rumble, I do think he'll be in the Final Four.
Okay.
But to be safe, I'm not gonna include him.
Okay.
So with Punk, Cody, Drew, I feel like that just has to happen. I think Sami Zayn would be fun, but I don't want to go full Raw here.
I know. I ended up going full Raw and try, but I looked at the SmackDown roster and I was just like, I don't see anybody here that could be a potential like Roman challenger.
Right, they're all in the Roman match already.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Owens maybe.
Oh, that he would have to be in it. Which,
yeah, that's also true.
Oba Femi? No.
Razor?
Lexis King?
Now we're talking, baby.
I'm going through this whole roster. It's Oh!
Oh, Jay Uso.
Give me main event Jay Uso.
Ooh, that's a good one. I think that's a good pick. Again, a Raw guy, though.
Yeah, it's fine.
Solid pick.
Not my fault all the intrigue in a Roman match is on Raw. Yeah, since.
Who do you think is going to win the Rumble? I think an interesting part of this is that we don't know is people have pitched around the idea that if Rollins is not going to be at WrestleMania and he's going to have to relinquish the title, then maybe this Rumble is for that title. So that there's also that. Not only is this potentially the winner of this Rumble, but potentially someone that could maybe be World Heavyweight Champion.
Austin Theory. CM Punk.
CM Punk. Going into WrestleMania with the title. Immediately in a main event.
That or main eventing for the title, no matter what. Whether he's champion or challenging. Who's your pick?
McIntyre.
Oh.
You're wild with it. If McIntyre wins it, then you can have Punk face McIntyre at WrestleMania.
This is where Ryan falls off every time.
The
winner gets an extra point, and this happens every time.
I like
You're right.
Well, I like the idea of Punk working from underneath to try to beat McIntyre, and right now it feels like WrestleMania could be McIntyre Punk. In which case it makes more sense for someone to win a title or something here. To me, it makes more sense for it to be McIntyre.
Sure.
Yeah, but that's my logic there. I think it could be Cody, but with the Dwayne of it all, I don't think it's Cody anymore.
What if it's just Dwayne?
It could be just Dwayne, but I don't think so. I don't think you want to risk that.
It should be Big E.
It won't be Big E.
It said it should be. I know it won't be. Yeah. Guy probably won't even be in the match.
Yeah.
I'm a dreamer.
Give us some numbers.
All right. Do you want to give us a countdown for your number?
Of course. Give me one moment.
Money.
Ooh, you got lucky number 27.
Oh, that's great. That's a great number right there, baby. I'm stoked for that one.
I got 24. I didn't wait for the countdown.
24 is also 24 is also.
Yeah, I feel good about those. I
yeah,
think our numbers are good.
So we have, for me, first in, second in, Cody Gunther, longest Cody Rhodes, most eliminations, Bronson Reed, 30 of CM Punk, final four, Rhodes, Punk, McIntyre, and Priest, with the winner being McIntyre, my number being 27. For you, Scotty, first in, second in, McIntyre, Sami Zayn, longest being Cody Rhodes, most eliminations, McIntyre, 30th, Big E, final four, Punk, McIntyre, Rhodes, Uso, with Punk being your winner and your special number being 24. We don't really have this as part of the bit, but what do you think of potential surprises for the men's and women's Royal Rumble?
Women's, we used to do a surprise one. I think we got rid of it. But for funsies, this won't count. Big E, obviously, I think is at the top. Brock Lesnar as well.
Yeah.
But if we want to go a little bit like outside the box,
The Rock is sort of outside the box.
yeah, I guess. I'm trying to think of like some old person.
Great Muda. That's outside the box.
That was last year. Remember, people thought that was going to happen.
It could happen this year. The guy needs money. The end's down.
It could happen. Yeah, I don't.
I'm trying to think of Tamatonga.
Tamatonga. Oh dear God. I'm pretty sold on Brock or Big E.
I'm just gonna name a bunch of random people. Bo Dallas. Doing sort of a Bray Wyatt thing, maybe give him that
Uncle
moment.
Howdy himself.
Give him sort of a Bray Wyatt moment. That's fine.
That'd be cool.
Sean Spears, Ty Dillinger at number 10.
Oh, I mean, it feels too good to be true.
That's the dream.
Marshall out there at me next. Oh, Andrade.
Yeah, Andrade.
Completely forgot about him.
Mm-hmm. Who else?
El Idolo.
Andrade could be in there. Who else has recently left?
Sorry.
Who else did we get?
I think the women's one's pretty simple. It's like Naomi.
What about here? One really outside the box? Corey Graves. Outside the box, baby. I'm trying to get out as far outside the box as possible.
That's nasty.
That is nasty.
That's nasty.
The Boogeyman. Kane. A recent Donald Trump supporter, Kane.
I would shut it off if Kane walked out.
Yeah.
Kane. That's gonna be Kane.
Kazuchika. What? Here's a wild one. Kazuchika Nakajima.
Shut up.
We gave you Charlie Dempsey. You got to give us
wrestling that day. He's defending the Triple Crown.
Yeah, who cares? Then who's not on the card? Kenta Miyahara? We'll send him over. Tatsumi Fujinami.
In the women's match, I'm going Naomi, Mercedes Moné. I don't think she's actually gonna show up, but for the shits and giggles, half the NXT roster, half the Divas generation. AJ Lee.
AJ Lee is an outside the box pick.
Let's light it up, light it up, light it up. Yeah,
I think that's a totally fair outside the box pick.
Yeah, that's my best outside the box pick.
What about Beth Phoenix? No? Yes?
Probably.
Her husband in AEW now?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Maybe.
I agree with that.
Know. They might still like her.
What about Samantha Irving to get more TikTok views? I think for outside the box, I don't know. I think are they crazy enough to do something like that? I don't know. Maybe.
No.
I don't know. I think it's possible.
No.
Just announce herself. I don't know, man. That's not a. Well, here's one. I don't know where they are in their postpartum of it all, but Carmella, Alexa Bliss.
Oh yeah, Carmella for sure. Yeah.
I don't know where both of them are in their
I
maternity.
don't know who had the baby more recently.
I want to say Bliss did, but I don't really know.
I think you're right.
But yeah, no matter what, I don't know where they are at all. But I think they both have given birth to their children, so maybe one of them as a return. Yeah. Any other surprises for anything? Who's the most random NXT person to show up on the show?
Carmen Petrovic.
Yeah.
You lined that one up for me.
I did. Who's the most random person I can think of that will show up here?
Gable Stevenson.
No, probably. He'll probably show up.
Like SmackDown, like pre-tapes or something.
Who's that one person?
Oh, Lola Vice. Anyone?
Sol Ruka.
She's hurt.
Still? God, are all these women hurt? Oh, wait, they are.
Nikita Lyons?
Scripps?
That's the one. Tank Ledger? If Tank Ledger walks up, they should get Trick in this.
They should. I just saw him.
I would go crazy.
I just saw him. 100% they should get Trick Williams in this. Who's the most random?
Carmelo's going to be in this, by the way, for sure.
Yeah, but he's also
on SmackDown now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's been flirting at SmackDown already. Who's the most random guy? Josh Briggs.
That trick. Whoop that trick.
Yeah.
That trick.
Uh-huh.
If they put Booker T as guest commentator on the men's one, I know who's coming out.
100%. 100%. That's right. True. That is
I
right.
We should just get that soundbite of him going,
Yeah, we have to isolate his vocals.
Yeah. Are we done? This is the Royal Rumble. Bronco Nima.
Now we're done. We have to make sure you get Bronco Nima.
Who the fuck is Bronco Nima?
WWE Royal Rumble. There we go. I don't think there's anything else. Do you? I don't know.
Frederick? Okay, continue.
Carl Frederick. Who's Carl Frederick?
Eddie Thorpe.
Eddie Thorpe. What a terrible name. Eddie Thorpe. That's one of the worst names I think they've ever come up with. Oh,
I just called the guy Bronco Mima.
Guy's named after a car.
Carmen Petrovic. That's the one.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't know if they'll probably like add one more match or something. I don't know.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, I don't know what it would be.
Something else.
I don't know what it would be.
I thought it was going to be a world heavyweight title match, but I was wrong.
Yeah, I guess it could have been that for sure. I think the only other thing that they might announce is they're probably going to announce like something crazy like the WB Women's Tag Team Championship or something. It's going to be something silly like that.
They should have Dominic Mysterio win the Royal Rumble.
Now we're talking, baby. Now we're talking.
I'm Dirty Dom.
Anything else for Ring Post Radio? I think we're pretty much done here.
That's it?
Yeah, that was all the stuff. We covered everything.
Really? I thought we had something left.
No, that was kind of it.
We got nothing else this upcoming week?
To talk about for next week?
Yeah.
Next week we're going to talk about the
wrestling events.
Next week we're going to talk about the Rumble. We're going to talk about the first two nights of the Road to New Beginning tour, which has a couple of those
you don't want to talk about GCW Look at Me?
Oh yeah, let's talk about GCW Look at Me, of course. Great.
Or
give me that
Mox
card
versus Gringo Revolver. You want to see this card? Violence is Forever versus Culture Inc. Effie versus Mance Warner. Mm-hmm. Jacob Fatu and Zilla Fatu versus the main event.
Whoa, Jesus, the main event's gonna get killed.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Dark Sheik versus Lindsay Snow versus, you guessed it, Ali Ketch versus Masha Slamovich. Leo Rush versus Jack Cartwheel. Oh, this is the one you've been waiting for. Joey Janela versus AJ Francis. Tony Deppen versus Mansoor. And Blake Christian versus Sawyer Wreck. I will not watch a single match from that show.
Is that TNA's own freaking top dollar?
Top dollar.
Yeah, we don't really have anything else. I mean, NWA doesn't have a pay-per-view till March 2nd.
West Coast Pros got a show next weekend.
Deadlock Pro had a show last night.
Yesterday and today.
Was there anything interesting that came out of the Deadlock? Did you watch the last night's Deadlock Pro show? Was the live one or something, right?
Sure.
I did see that Uno and Stu Grayson were wrestling on that one, so that should be interesting, I guess, to say the least. Yeah, I mean, we don't really have anything else. I mean, does anyone have any questions in the chat? Probably not. I mean, we just end the show here. I mean, we got
holy shit.
Wrap it up.
Deadlock match is sick. Deadlock show.
Which one is this, tonight's or last night?
Tonight.
Okay, here's
a
preview. Here we go. Here's a preview of Deadlock Pro.
Don't even know if it airs. It's called You Already Know 2024.
Oh, perfect. Well, I don't know, so tell me.
We got Andrew Everett versus Adam Priest. I like Adam Priest.
I do like Adam Priest a lot.
Nicole Matthews versus Rachel Armstrong. I have no idea who Rachel Armstrong is. Jake something and Speedball Mike Bailey.
A TNA special.
Versus Kevin Blackwood and Alec Price.
Kevin Blackwood and Alec Price. That's an interesting group.
Miyuki Takase defends the DPW Women's World Championship against Lady Frost.
Okay.
I'm intrigued.
Is Lady Frost winning?
Probably not. I think Takase just won the belt. Motor City Machine Guns defend against the Super Smash Bros. Because
Super Smash Bros. Won last night. And
in a steel cage match main event, it will be Calvin Tankman defending the DPW World Title against Colby Carino.
All right, real southern flavor on this show.
Yeah, I'll watch some of that. Anyways, bye everybody.
Well, hold on. We're not bye yet. We got to do our plugs and match of the weeks and all this all of our other gimmicks.
So what we got doesn't make it. I can't sing that on the stream.
I mean, you could. Here we go. Here's a go. Perfect question. Connor Houston. Did anyone see the Suri Hashimoto match recently? I have not watched it. I assume you have.
Suri matches are in my blood.
I was about to say I have not seen it yet. I assume you have seen it, Scotty.
Yeah, it was tremendous.
Was that your match of the week?
It was, yes. by a lot. It was. I haven't watched Alexander and Ospreay yet, but Suri and Hashimoto was my match of the week. So I guess this is where I wrap up the show for myself. You can follow me at Scotty Wrestling on Twitter and check out this past week's Stardom Road episode, Beginner's Guide to Stardom for anyone interested. Absolutely torn to shreds now. But it's nice to think that it's not. It helps you with
What do you mean? What do you mean it was torn to shreds?
There's a new faction.
So, I see what you mean.
So it's tough. But everything else is useful.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So like that matters.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything else is torn to shreds.
Perfect. Watch something that's already out of date.
No, hey. when we were making it, we knew.
Yeah. There's a good shot that it'll be out of date.
It's it's doing very good. So keep watching it. Thank you.
Let me see if I have any questions.
Acknowledge me.
There's some comments here on the video. Do you want to address them real quickly?
Sure. Trying to get to that 2-hour mark, I see.
At Abba Rocks, thanks for posting, guys. Do you have a comment?
You're welcome.
At Misfit Wrestling Podcast, just as a quote, I assume of something you guys said. Oedo Tai are not House of Torture. They have actual matches.
I did say that on the Beginner's Guide.
At Connie Young 96, I am a Oedo Tai fan. Stardom books them so weak.
Yeah, you know.
At Double Time 9098, rule 1 to watching Stardom: don't watch Stardom, watch Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling instead.
That is oof. If you want to be in for a bad time, sure.
If you want your heart broken over and over again.
Yeah. There you go.
At High Score Run, good show.
Thank you.
There was a conversation between Stardom and New Japan that I sent you in the Slack that I thought was hilarious.
Funny. That was very funny.
I'm not going to go through that, but it was very, very funny.
Is that it? Can we move on?
Chelsea 6671. I looked at the website and ran Queendom as scheduled on April 27th.
Yeah, we were talking about the previous one. I'm pretty sure.
All right, here's one that may be frustrating and may be frustrating for you to hear. At NJ Brock 22. I may be alone in this, but I always felt Stardom is more closer to Dragon Gate, especially with how the factions function, and style-wise more than New Japan. Thoughts?
Yeah, like half of the roster got into wrestling because of Dragon Gate. So,
as to Edo Tai, again from a Dragon Gate perspective, they're 100% a heel unit that does everything possible, unlike Bullet Club, House of Torture, to not overstay their welcome and keep everything interesting. Amazing they haven't tried to break them up or do a big reset yet on some of the other units, but who knows? Maybe we get that this year.
okay.
Also, as stated earlier on QQ, Queen's Quest?
Sure.
The quote sink or swim aspect, if that was the case, Mouse would have sunk a long time ago. They kind of abandoned that idea a while ago, probably around the time Momo left.
What?
I don't know. I don't know what that sentence means.
Sink or swim?
I don't know what any of that
They
sentence
still do. Whatever.
what is that? What is that?
End the goddamn show. I don't want to be here.
What does that sentence mean? I don't get it.
I don't know. I don't know. Hot boy summer. They bring the torture. That's me trying to get out of here.
All right. Well, did you have any other plugs before? I don't think you said any plugs or anything.
No, I'm good.
My match of the week.
From 1974.
It's an oldie but a goodie. Well, I did watch a match from 1977 this week. So you're not far off. But it's because I'm starting to work on the ballot, patreon.com/counterpod about Kento Miyahara. I watched his first Triple Crown title win from February 28th, 2016. Kento Miyahara versus Zeus. Triple Crown title.
On your list?
Of like watch later stuff?
Yeah.
No, it was not on the list.
Zeus is sick. Or was sick.
Yeah, he's now running Osaka Pro, right? Yeah, it was a pretty good match. I gave it 3.5. It wasn't astounding or anything, but it was fine.
Sounds like you. I've never seen it, so I have no idea.
Yeah, it's I don't know if I'd recommend it, but it's 3.5.
I want to see what it's rated on Cage Match.
This is
7.78. So no, you're right.
Yeah. I like how you didn't fully trust my opinion. You just went with what the Cage Match said.
Well, I mean, sometimes you'll be like, "Yeah, I gave it 3.5." It's like rated fucking 10 on Cage Match, but like that's life. I actually did believe you though, because it was Kento's first win. You said right?
Yes.
So that was 2016. Yeah, no, I did believe you. I just want to know if Public did too. Which, yes, they did. Anything sub 8 is like. Yeah.
I'm gonna plug again patreon.com/counterpod. Put the first episode of the ballot with Curtis Spears from Okada Shorts podcast, talking about the Japanese career.
They're gonna change their name.
They're talking about it. They're figuring out what they're gonna do. I think they're. I don't want to speak for them. I don't want to speak for them because they'll have an episode talking about it coming out shortly, and they'll address it in the show. So listen to Okada Shorts for you really want the New Japan fan perspective more than us. Okada Shorts. Listen to that show.
Yeah, we do.
What I was going to say was that I'm going to do a bonus thing for the audio listeners here. That I'm going to put in the first couple minutes of the ballot of the conversation about Zack Sabre Jr. At the end of this episode. That's why your podcast player says there's like 5+ more minutes left or whatever. That way you get a little bit of a teaser, a little bit of a preview. And if you want more, you can always check out patreon.com/countoutpod. It's on the $5 tier. So for $5 a month, you'll be able to listen to every episode that comes out every month and maybe more and a bunch of other content that comes out every month. So I think it's a really good episode. I thought it really went well. And like, weirdly enough, Scotty, so much of what we talked about had to also like worked in line with like Okada leaving and like the mass exodus of New Japan and being like, well, you know, if a bunch of people are leaving and Zack Sabre Jr. can stick around, he should be a world title champion at some point. That would really be great for his career. And then Okada left the same day that I released that episode. So something was in the water for sure. Maybe he listened to it. Maybe he listened to it.
What do you think was in the water? Like poison?
No, I think what was in the water was Logan Paul's energy drink. Of course, Prime. That was probably in the water. Anyways, that is it for us here at Ring Post Radio. I've been Ryan. That's been Scotty. We'll be back next week talking about the Rumble, talking about more New Japan, talking about Stardom Supreme Fight. That's right. We can talk about Stardom next week. And of course, if you listen to the audio version, subscribe to the podcast wherever you get it. And you'll be listening to a little bit of a first couple minutes preview of the new episode of The Ballot discussing the career of Zack Sabre Jr. Thank you, everybody, for listening to this week's episode of Ring Post Radio. We'll be back next week. And until then, goodbye, everybody.
Money.